I never thought sharing an apartment with my straight roommate Tyler would turn my life upside down. We had been casual friends since college, the kind who grabbed beers after exams but never went deep. When my old lease ended in Seattle and I needed a place fast for my new graphic design job, Tyler offered the spare room in his Capitol Hill apartment. No drama, just split rent and quiet nights, he said with that easy grin. But 3 weeks after I moved in, after a long day at work and a few too many beers while talking about how lonely the city could feel, Tyler leaned across the couch and kissed me. His lips pressed against mine for a solid 5 seconds before he jerked back, eyes wide with panic. "What the hell did I just do?" he whispered, voice cracking. The apartment was a typical Seattle 2-bedroom. Exposed brick walls, big windows overlooking the street, and a living room cluttered with Tyler's gaming setup and my design sketches. I had moved my stuff in on a rainy Saturday. Tyler helped carry boxes up the stairs without complaint, joking about how my plant collection would finally make the place look less like a bachelor pad. He was the picture of straight confidence. Tall, athletic from weekend hikes, with messy brown hair and a laugh that filled the room. I was the quieter one, 24, trying to build a career while keeping my personal life low-key. I had come out to my parents back in California years ago, and they were supportive in that distant way, but I knew better than to broadcast it at work or with new friends. Those first weeks were easy. We fell into a rhythm. Mornings, Tyler made coffee while I checked emails. Evenings, we'd order Thai food and watch sports or documentaries. He talked about his marketing job, the pressure to hit targets, and his family back in Texas. Strict dad who was a deacon at their church, mom who still sent care packages. I shared stories about design deadlines and my last relationship that ended badly because I was too guarded. Tyler listened without judgment, and for the first time in months, the apartment felt like home. That night started innocently. We were both exhausted. I had pulled an all-nighter on a client project, and Tyler had dealt with a tough presentation. We cracked open beers, sitting on the worn leather couch. The conversation turned personal. Tyler admitted he hadn't dated anyone seriously since moving to Seattle. "Girls here are great, but something feels off, like I'm going through the motions." I nodded, sharing how hard it was to meet someone genuine when everyone seemed focused on careers. The city lights flickered outside the window as rain tapped the glass. 1 beer turned to 3. Tyler's voice grew softer. He looked at me differently, searching. Then it happened. He set his bottle down, leaned in, and kissed me. It wasn't aggressive or sloppy. It was tentative, almost curious, but real. My heart slammed against my ribs. When he pulled away, the air thickened with shock. Tyler stood up fast, running a hand through his hair. "Alex, I'm sorry. I don't know what came over me. I've never." He paced the small living room, face flushed. "Forget that happened. Blame the beer." I sat there stunned, lips still tingling. "Tyler, it's okay to be confused. But you can't just pretend it didn't happen." He wouldn't meet my eyes. "It was a mistake. I'm straight. Always have been." He grabbed his keys and left the apartment, the door clicking shut like a period at the end of a sentence I wasn't ready to write. I didn't sleep much that night. The kiss replayed in my mind. Tyler had always seemed so sure of himself, dating girls in college, talking about future wife and kids. Part of me wondered if I had imagined the spark, but the look in his eyes before he pulled away was unmistakable. Fear mixed with something deeper. The next morning, he acted normal, making coffee like nothing changed. "Sleep okay?" he asked, voice too casual. I nodded, but the tension hummed between us like a live wire. Work dragged. At my desk, I sketched logos but kept drifting to the memory. By evening, Tyler was home first, cooking pasta as a peace offering. We ate in silence until I couldn't hold it. "We need to talk about last night." He set his fork down. "Nothing to talk about, man. I was drunk. It won't happen again." But his hands shook slightly. I pushed. "If you're questioning things, that's okay. Seattle's full of people figuring themselves out." He laughed bitterly. "Questioning? My dad would lose his mind. Church, family expectations. It's not that simple. That was the first crack in his armor, revealing the weight he carried from his Texas upbringing. The following days were awkward. We avoided being alone too long. Tyler stayed late at the gym. I buried myself in deadlines. But the apartment was small, and our routines overlapped. One evening, he came home soaked from rain, and I handed him a towel without a word. Our fingers brushed. He froze for a second before muttering thanks. The unspoken thing hung over us, making every conversation loaded. By the end of the week, the silence broke during another late night. Tyler sat on the couch, staring at the TV without watching. I keep thinking about it, he admitted quietly. The kiss. It didn't feel wrong in the moment, but everything after does. I sat across from him. What do you want, Tyler? He shrugged, conflicted. I don't know. I've never looked at a guy that way. You're my roommate, my friend. Messing that up scares me more than anything. His honesty hit hard. We talked for hours about pressure, identity, and fear of losing control. He didn't label it, but he didn't deny the pull either. That conversation didn't fix anything. It only opened the door to more questions. As the days passed, the easy friendship we built shifted into something charged and uncertain. I wondered how long we could pretend the kiss was just a drunken slip before it forced us to face what it really meant. Little did I know, that single moment would unravel years of Tyler's carefully constructed life and test every belief I held about love and loyalty. The awkwardness didn't fade. It settled into our daily life like fog over Puget Sound. Tyler tried hard to act normal, cracking jokes about bad drivers on the way to the grocery store, asking about my latest project, but his eyes lingered a second too long when I walked into the room. I caught him staring once while I cooked breakfast, quickly looking away when I turned. You good? I asked. He nodded too fast. Yeah, just zoning out. We avoided the living room couch for a while, the scene of the crime. Instead, we ate at the small kitchen table or in our rooms. But Seattle's rainy evenings pushed us together. One Thursday, a storm knocked out power for a couple hours. We lit candles and played cards by flashlight on the floor. The conversation started light, then turned serious again. Tyler shuffled the deck slowly. My family calls every Sunday. Dad always asks if I'm dating a nice Christian girl. Mom sends Bible verses about staying on the right path. He paused. If they knew what happened, they'd pray for my soul or something. I listened, sharing my own experiences. My parents were more accepting, but even they worried about how being openly gay might affect my career in a competitive field. Coming out isn't a one-time thing, I told him. It's every new person, every situation, and it costs something every time. Tyler nodded, but I could see the fear in his posture, the way his shoulders tensed at the idea of disappointing his family. The next weekend, we went hiking together at Discovery Park to clear our heads. The trails were muddy, the air fresh with pine. Halfway up a hill, Tyler stopped to catch his breath. That kiss. It wasn't just beer, Alex. I've been thinking about guys more lately. Not just you, but you're the first one who made it feel real. His admission hung in the damp air. I didn't push for labels. We sat on a log overlooking the water, talking about how society made it hard for men like him, athletic, successful, to question anything without facing ridicule or rejection. Back at the apartment, the tension eased slightly. We watched a movie, sitting closer than before. When his knee brushed mine, neither of us moved it away. But Tyler still pulled back emotionally. I can't be gay, he said one night over pizza. My whole life is built on the guy everyone expects me to be. Coach in high school, youth group leader, the son who makes his parents proud. His voice cracked. What if this is just a phase? What if I ruin everything for nothing? I felt torn. Part of me wanted to tell him to explore safely, but another part worried about getting hurt. I had been the experiment before, and it left scars. You don't owe anyone your identity, Tyler. But you do owe yourself honesty. He didn't reply, but the next day he came home with a six-pack and suggested we talk more. We stayed up late again, sharing vulnerabilities. He told stories about strict youth camps where any deviation was prayed away. I opened up about the loneliness of hiding parts of myself at work. Our friendship deepened through the conflict. Tyler started noticing small things, making my favorite coffee, asking about my family. I found myself looking forward to coming home, even with the uncertainty. But the pull was there, unspoken. One evening, after a tough day, he hugged me goodbye before bed. It lingered longer than a bro hug should. We both froze, then laughed it off nervously. The internal battles raged for both of us. For Tyler, it was guilt versus desire, faith versus feeling. For me, it was hope versus self-protection. We agreed to keep things platonic, to move past it. But every shared laugh, every quiet moment in the apartment chipped away at that resolve. The city outside bustled with pride flags in some neighborhoods, a reminder of lives lived openly, while Tyler wrestled with the walls his upbringing built. By the end of the month, the denial was cracking. Tyler admitted during another honest talk that he had searched online for stories like his, men who realized later in life. "It scares me how much I relate," he said. I encouraged therapy or talking to a trusted friend, but he feared word getting back to Texas. The pressure from his family calls increased. His mom mentioned setting him up with a girl from their church. The roommate dynamic had shifted permanently. What started as a convenient housing arrangement became a crucible for self-discovery. Every decision now carried weight: what we said, how close we sat, whether we acknowledged the growing emotional bond. Tyler's confusion was turning into something more defined, and I was falling despite my better judgment. The real test was still coming, when the outside world would force us to choose sides. Small moments accumulated, turning confusion into connection. Tyler began opening up more about his past. He described growing up in a small Texas town where being different meant isolation. Sports were his escape, but even there, any softness was mocked. "I dated girls because that's what you did," he explained one evening while we folded laundry together. "It felt normal enough, but with you it's different, deeper." I shared my journey too. First crushes in high school, the fear of telling friends, the relief when some accepted it. Our talks moved from the couch to late-night walks around the block. Seattle's cool air helped clear heads. Tyler started questioning his faith gently, wondering if love could transcend the rules he was taught. "What if God made me this way?" he'd ask, voice low as if afraid of being overheard. One Friday we cooked dinner together, simple stir-fry. Laughter came easy as we bumped elbows in the tiny kitchen. After eating, Tyler put on music, an old playlist from college. We danced stupidly at first, then slower. His hand on my waist sent electricity through me. We stopped before it went further, but the look he gave me said everything. "I don't want to hurt you, Alex," he whispered, "but I can't stop thinking about what this could be." The next week brought a work crisis for me. A client hated revisions and I worked late. Tyler waited up with takeout. When I got home exhausted, he listened to me vent, then suggested a movie to unwind. Halfway through, his arm went around my shoulders. Felt natural. We didn't kiss, but the closeness was intimate in its own way. I fell asleep there, waking to him watching me with soft eyes. Tyler's internal war intensified. He skipped a family video call one Sunday, claiming work. His mom texted worried messages. He confided in me afterward. They'd see this as rebellion. Dad would quote scripture for hours. I encouraged boundaries but understood the guilt. We researched support groups together online, reading stories of men from similar backgrounds who found peace. Tyler bookmarked a few but didn't join yet. Friends noticed the change. My coworker Sarah asked if I was seeing someone. I dodged. Tyler's buddy from the gym mentioned he seemed distracted. The secrecy added stress. One night, Tyler had a nightmare about his family disowning him. I heard him through the wall and went in to check. He let me sit on the bed's edge, talking him down. "You're not alone in this," I said. That moment broke more barriers. Our bond grew through shared vulnerabilities. Tyler helped me with a design presentation, staying up late to practice with me. I joined him for runs along the waterfront, pushing each other. The romance was emotional first: trust, care, understanding. He started using my favorite mug without thinking. I left notes on the fridge with encouragement. But doubt crept in. Tyler pulled back after a close moment. "What if this ruins our friendship? Or my career?" Marketing firms could be conservative. Rumors spread fast. I felt the moral weight too. Was I pushing him too fast? Or was waiting a form of denial that hurt us both? A turning point came during a power outage again. Candles lit the room. Tyler spoke clearly. "I think I'm bisexual. Or gay. I don't know the word yet. But I know I have feelings for you, Alex. Real ones." We held hands for the first time, just sitting in silence. It was tender, not rushed. The decision to explore slowly felt right amid the chaos. Outside pressures mounted subtly. Tyler's parents planned a visit in a few weeks. He grew anxious, cleaning the apartment obsessively as if they could sense the change in the air. I offered to stay with a friend during their trip, but he wanted me there. "You're part of my life now," he said. The growing romance brought joy mixed with fear. Every laugh, every supportive gesture carried the price of potential loss. Tyler was awakening to his truth, but the world he came from wouldn't make it easy. Our choices, to lean in or pull back, would soon face their first real test when family arrived, forcing us to confront how much we were willing to risk for authenticity. Tyler's parents arrived on a Friday afternoon. His dad, a tall man with a firm handshake and pastor-like presence, scanned the apartment immediately. His mom hugged Tyler tight, then me politely. "So nice to meet Alex. Tyler says you're a great roommate." We showed them around. I kept my distance, but the energy between Tyler and me was impossible to hide completely. The visit started okay. We took them to Pike Place Market, ate seafood, walked the waterfront. Tyler's dad asked about my job, my family. I answered carefully, avoiding personal details. But at dinner that night, his mom noticed how Tyler looked at me when I spoke. "You two seem close," she said with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. Tyler laughed it off. "Best roommate ever." The tension peaked on Saturday. His parents suggested church on Sunday. Tyler agreed reluctantly. That evening, after they went to their hotel, we argued quietly. "You don't have to pretend around them," I said. Tyler snapped. "You don't understand. One wrong look and they start the intervention." His fear was palpable. He paced, hands shaking. "This was a bad idea having you here." The next morning, his dad pulled Tyler aside for a talk. I overheard fragments. Questions about dating, settling down, godly paths. Tyler came back pale. Later, his mom cornered me in the kitchen while making coffee. "Tyler has always been such a good boy. We worry about the influences in big cities." The implication stung. The confrontation happened after they left for a walk. Tyler was furious at their probing. "They suspect something." Dad asked if I was struggling with temptations. I tried to calm him. "Maybe it's time to be honest." He exploded. "Honest? And lose them?" My dad would never speak to me again. Mom would cry for months. The argument escalated. Accusations flew. Me not understanding his world, him being cowardly. Hurt words cut deep. "Maybe this was all a mistake," he said finally. His parents returned, sensing the strain. The rest of the visit was polite but cold. When they left Monday, Tyler was drained. He apologized that night. "I'm sorry. Seeing them made everything real. The guilt, it's crushing." We talked through the night. He admitted the visit highlighted his divided loyalties. Family love versus personal truth. The damage lingered. Tyler became distant again, throwing himself into work. I gave space but felt the betrayal of his words. Friends noticed. Sarah asked if everything was okay at home. The moral dilemma weighed heavy. Was pushing Tyler to come out fair if it destroyed his family ties? Or was enabling his hiding a betrayal of our connection? A week later, another fight erupted when Tyler suggested we cool things until he figured it out. I need time, he said. I felt used, like an experiment he could pause. Time for what? To go back to pretending. The pain was raw. He left for a run and didn't return until late. The family visit forced choices. Tyler faced the cost of authenticity, potential rejection from those who raised him. I confronted my role in his awakening. The drama intensified as external judgment clashed with internal desires. Our decisions now carried real consequences, and the price was climbing higher than either of us anticipated. Tyler tried to fix things by dating a woman from his office. Her name was Emily. He mentioned her casually at first. Nice girl, we grabbed lunch. Then it became dinners, weekend plans. I saw photos on his phone when he left it charging. The betrayal hit like a punch. After everything we shared, he was performing straightness for his family's approval. I confronted him after he came home from a date. So this is how you deal? By lying to everyone, including yourself. Tyler defended it. It's not serious, just to get my parents off my back. They keep asking. His eyes showed guilt, but he doubled down. You knew my situation. This isn't easy for me. The argument was explosive. Voices raised in the apartment. I thought we were building something real, I shouted. Not a side project you can hide. Tyler accused me of not understanding the pressure: job, family, reputation. One rumor and my career stalls. My dad cuts me off financially and emotionally. I called it cowardice. He called it survival. I packed a bag that night and stayed with a friend for a week. The silence in the apartment when I left was deafening. Tyler texted apologies, but I needed space. During that time, I reflected on the sacrifices. Was love worth constant hiding? My friends advised moving out permanently, but the emotional tie was strong. When I returned to grab more things, Tyler was waiting. He looked wrecked. Emily wasn't working, he admitted. Every date felt wrong. I kept thinking about you, but the damage was done. I told him the betrayal hurt more than the denial. You chose comfort over us. He cried then, the first time I saw it. I don't know how to choose without losing everything. The fallout spread. Work rumors started when a coworker saw Tyler with Emily but noticed his distraction. My own job suffered from the stress. Tyler's family called more, praising the new girlfriend. The moral conflict peaked. Tyler's choice to date her was a direct sacrifice of our trust for family peace. Mine was deciding whether to fight or walk away. We had one last major confrontation before I considered moving out for good. If you can't be honest, we have no future, I said. Tyler begged for another chance. I'm trying to wake up, but the price is my whole world. The conversation ended in tears and a tentative truce. He broke things off with Emily publicly, but the trust was fractured. The period of separation and betrayal forced awakening. Tyler realized hiding caused more pain. I learned the limits of patience. The drama reached its height as decisions about loyalty, to self, to love, to family, demanded answers. The cost was becoming clear. Authenticity required sacrifice, and neither of us could avoid paying it any longer. Weeks apart turned into reflection. Tyler reached out after ending things with Emily for good. I came out to my parents over video call, he said when we met at a coffee shop. His voice was steady but eyes red. The conversation had been brutal. His dad quoted Bible verses, called it sin. His mom wept, asking what she did wrong. They gave him an ultimatum: repent or lose contact. Tyler chose truth. They disowned me. No more support, no holidays. It hurts like hell, but pretending hurt worse. I listened, heart aching for him. The sacrifice was immense. Family ties severed for self-acceptance. We talked for hours about the price. Tyler lost financial help for his apartment, faced potential work awkwardness, and grieved the parents who raised him. But he gained clarity. Loving you showed me I can't live half a life anymore. We reconciled slowly. Dates were careful, rebuilding trust. Tyler started therapy, joined a local support group for men from conservative backgrounds. I introduced him to my accepting friends. The romance bloomed with honesty. Walks holding hands in safer neighborhoods, quiet nights talking futures. The awakening was profound. Tyler confronted his internalized prejudices, redefining masculinity and faith on his terms. I learned compassion for the journey, not just the destination. But scars remained. Family holidays were lonely. Tyler's dad sent one final message of disappointment. The social prejudice lingered in subtle ways at work and in public. In the end, we chose each other despite the costs. The apartment stayed ours, now filled with open affection and shared growth. Tyler's decision to come out transformed him, but the loss was permanent. Our story proved love could survive drama, but it demanded everything. Was Tyler right to choose authenticity and love over his family's approval, even at the devastating cost of being disowned, or should he have stayed silent to preserve those relationships?